Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today I'm back with my usual warning. Stop buying singles of Destined Rivals. We are at that terrible point right now when it comes to the new set, whereby pre-releases have started. Pre-releases have begun. The cards are in people's hands. People have been out this past weekend, going to pre-releases, picking up cards, having a jolly old good time. But there aren't that many. Like, you get a pre-release, you get yourself 4 packs, couple packs at the end, but you don't get that many packs. You don't get to buy lots and lots of boxes. So the supply out there is very low. But because pre-releases have started, the hype is about as high as it's ever going to be for the set. And you add that all together, and you end up with a ridiculous set of prices that people are paying for these cards. As always, usual rule apply here. This is just friendly advice from your old pal Wussy. You don't have to listen to this. If you want to go and buy these cards early, do it. Maybe you want to be the first person to get them graded. Maybe there's something else going on. But look, you guys do what you want to do. Just know that right now, if you're buying singles, you're massively overpaying. If you're happy with that, go for it. Friendly advice from your old pal Wussy, nothing more. But let's take, for instance, Team Rocket's Mewtwo. That's a pretty big card, right? That's one of the ones that I think people are going to be most excited about from this set. I think that's fair to say. And we don't have that many of them, but there are a few that are finding their way onto eBay. And I think this little run of free kind of sums it up quite nicely. $875, $900, $650. Generally speaking, people are trying to go around the $850 to $900 mark, and then every so often somebody else will come in being like, oh, that seems like a ridiculous amount of money. $650. But of course, these are sales. These aren't ones that are actually being sold. People haven't paid for these. These are ones which are available now. Is anyone going to buy them? I don't know. We'll find out later. No, let's find out now. Let's go and have a look at the sold listings for these. And I've got to be honest with you, $850 is about right. Right now, $850 is about right. Here's 3 in a row. One that actually sold for $850, and 2 that were $865 but had an offer accepted, so sold for a little bit lower. There isn't room to show you on this screen grab, but the next one after it is actually also $850. There's 4 in a row that are like $850. $850 is what we're selling it for. Want to pay $850 for this? Do I need to say $850 a couple more times? And look, there are exceptions. Somebody picked one up for $600. But essentially, this was a buy it now that went up at $600 with the Meowth as well. And their hand got bitten off is probably the best way to put this here. That's a metaphor, obviously. But the point is, yes, one did sell for $600, but there's a bunch selling for $850 and then one that sold for $600. Essentially, by the current market, this went up way too cheap. I'm assuming it sold in like 5 minutes flat. I don't know, but I'm assuming that's the case. Okay, so then the question becomes, well, should we be paying this much for it? Should this be an $850 card? You already know where we're going with this. The answer is no, ladies and gentlemen. The answer is no. And we can just do little comparisons here. So let's go to Surging Sparks. Couple of set to go, but you'll see why in a second. And the big card there is Pikachu. And Pikachu is a big card. If we have a look at the graph since it came out, well, let's go back 6 months, just after it came out. It was about a $500 card. It has dropped to a $285 card. So there's 2 important points to learn from this Pikachu. Number 1, look at the price crash that happened after release, when the set was actually out and in people's hands and available and ready to go and all of that. And secondly, that's a $285 card. That is a special illustration rare Pikachu. It is a very sought after card. It is the biggest card in the set. It's playable. It's Pikachu. It's $290. And if we go to Journey Together, it's even more pronounced. Biggest card in Journey Together, Lily's Clefairy. It's got Lily, it's got Clefairy, it's crazy playable. Really, like, properly playable. And the graph isn't really showing up for some reason on TCG Player, but if we have a look at the last few solds, they're all like 160. We don't need a graph to tell us it's a $160 card, so yeah. Why are we thinking Lily's Clefairy is going to be like a $160 card, but Team Rocket's Mewtwo is going to be like an $850 card? Because it's that much better. I'm telling you now, Lily's Clefairy is way more playable than Team Rocket's Mewtwo. Way more playable. So he's a huge amount of play right now. And it's also got Lily and Clefairy on, who are pretty gosh darn popular. And I know I didn't get to show you the graph a second ago, so I don't know, why don't we just look at what we had last time? Let's have a look at Lily's Clefairy around about the release of the set. How much were people paying when this was a brand new card and pre-releases were happening? Well, these are listings, not sales, but as pre-releases were happening, they were all like $600. That's what people were asking. 2 weeks later, the sales were $220. They're now $160. These prices crash when the sets are released. It happens every time, but we look at Team Rocket's Giovanni, and we look at it as an $850 card. Ludicrous, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely ludicrous. Now, the card that I most want from the set, the card which I consider to be the hands-down best card in the set, is your Team Rocket's Moltres. I think that's just the best card. Most recent sale for that, $300. $300! Absolutely absurd. Now, I will say that is the most recent sale, and it is, as I record this, the most recent sale. And it's obviously absolutely ridiculous. $300 is absurd. If I go back just like a day, I've got these two in a row that sold for like $150, $160. So maybe $300 is too much. But again, that $300 did happen, and it is a real sale that happened over on eBay. And I mean, I suppose maybe it doesn't go through or whatever. I don't know, but certainly seems to have sold for $300 now, doesn't it? It says it sold for $300, and though it wasn't best offer accepted, it was sold for $300. Well, I don't really want to go through all this again, right? But I just showed you Pikachu, and I just showed you Clefairy, and I just kind of showed you that actually these cards are absurdly expensive compared to the ones we know are great. Like, we know Pikachu is playable. We know Lily's Clefairy is crazy playable. We know they're the biggest cards in their respective sets, and I showed you the prices for them. Why are we expecting these cards are suddenly going to become way cheaper? I can keep going if you like. Cynthia's Garchomp, great card. Love the artwork. It's kind of playable. It's not amazing, but it is seeing play and success over in Japan. It is a card that's making it to the table and seeing play, which is cool. $400? $400, more than double Lily's Clefairy. Like, I know Cynthia's popular, and I know Garchomp's popular, but you know what? So are Lily and Clefairy, and they're also way more playable. $400 at this stage. Absolutely ridiculous. You want one more example? Ethan's Ho-Oh. Let's talk about Ethan's Ho-Oh. This one, weirdly, is a bit all over the place. The last three sales are $300, $350, and $420. So it's $300 to $400-ish. Again, this one, the Cynthia's Garchomp, they're all just selling for $400. Team Rocket's Mewtwo, $850 seems to be right now the kind of settled price, at least for a second. Ethan's Ho-Oh's a little more all over the place, I'm going to be honest with you. But again, if we put this side by side with cards like Pikachu and Lily's Clefairy, which are the biggest cards in the set, which we know to be playable and which we know to be incredibly sought after, we can get a rough guide of roughly what we should be looking at. Like, at this stage, $300 for the biggest card in the set is at, like, the higher end of what we should be looking at. The idea of the 2, 3, 4 cards in the set being $300 to $400 are absolutely absurd, and the idea of any card being $850 is absolutely ludicrous. Now, when I say absolutely ludicrous, there is an exception to this, and it's one that's become a lot more important to me over the past few days on this channel. Check my Prismatic Evolutions opening if you don't know what I'm talking about. But of course, we do have the Prismatic Evolutions Umbreon. And I'm raising this at the end, just nice and quickly, because there are going to be people watching this going, well, hang on a second, Wassy. You're talking about cards being more than $300 being ridiculous. What about the $1,200 Umbreon? And the answer is, firstly, the Umbreon has still come down significantly in price since release. And secondly, Umbreon's an exception. It's from a special set, and it's from a set in Prismatic Evolutions where all the products have basically been impossible to get hold of, and people are getting worried about pull rates. Now, I do not have enough data to know exactly how true this is or whatever, but there are people worried that the pull rates are very, very low, and we've got the fact that the products are all completely sold out, and it's really hard to get hold of, and it's Umbreon, and obviously Umbreon was the biggest card in Scarlet and Violet. So you add that all together, that's like a perfect storm. Yes, the Umbreon is an exception. No, Destined Rivals will not end up being an exception, because it's a main set, not a special set. It's not an evolution-focused set, and although it is a bit of a pain to get hold of in places, it is nothing like Prismatic Evolutions. So no, it's not going to be like Umbreon. I acknowledge Umbreon. It is not going to be the same kind of thing as Umbreon. There we go. Yes, I know these cards are phenomenal. I adore the Cynthia's Garchomp. I adore the Moltres, the Mewtwo. I'm not so high on the Mewtwo, honestly. I don't think it's as cool, but I know a lot of people do, and that's all good for you guys. But essentially, right now, especially these special illustration rares, the prices are just way too high. And if you can wait, and if you can't, that's fine. That's on you. You make your own decisions. If you can wait, however, I very strongly suggest you do. These prices right now are absurdly high, and yes, they are going to be coming down over time. But I've told you about all that now, so now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of these cards. What did you pull from your pre-release? Did you have any luck? Let me know in the comment section. Get us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join the Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Martin Cornwall, who's literally been supporting the channel since it was a podcast back in 2012. So shout out to Martin for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.